ProVision Mentorship is one of several strategic focuses of ProVision Solutions, Inc. I'm Jim Ewing, and mentorship can make a difference. This is one of several interviews with those who've experienced mentorship. Learn from their experiences. Then take a moment and share your experiences on our blog, ProVision Mentorship.
Well, Jim, my experience with mentorship probably goes back to when I was a child, and many significant adults had impact in my life by taking time. A gentleman named John used to take me fishing. Of course, my dad spent significant amounts of time with me. There were men and women in our church fellowship and in our community that I looked up to. So I think that mentoring has been a long-term factor in my development in my life, and I've come to really value it. The more I go on, or the longer I live, the more I value those encounters I had with people who I now consider mentors. Having a mentor to me has meant challenge. I've been challenged to think more deeply and to explore things that on my own I wouldn't have thought of. I've been confronted with issues I need to deal with. I've been challenged to think about aspects of my work or about how my faith relates to life that I wouldn't have thought of on my own. And sometimes it's just open doors to a bigger world. Spend time with people I would consider mentors. They have illustrated for me by their own lives things that I wasn't even aware of. And therefore they've helped me explore a larger world and learn things I value to this day.
What type of help can a mentor provide?
Generally speaking, when I think of being mentored, I think of another person who comes alongside and who is willing to help me become more of what I am supposed to be. So I think mentors help me and others develop a sense of calling, what we're to do in life, what we're to serve in. Another is, I think they're there to help us develop our gifts, those areas that God has uniquely and genuinely gifted us to serve with. Beyond that, I think that mentors help develop relationships and help us understand, have helped me understand how to work through relationship challenges, difficulties, and how to broaden my viewpoint and my acceptance of other people.
Talk with us about the development of the mentorship relationship.
Again, I think it's very important for both persons involved to have a sense of what they expect, to communicate clearly with each other what they expect from the partnership. I think communication all the way through is critical, but if they start out on the right foot with a mutual understanding, it will stand them in good stead throughout the partnership. Then in terms of establishing the partnership and sustaining it, keeping it going in the right direction, they again need to continue to talk about how they're doing. I think adjustments often need to be made in any partnership. Are we on the right track? Sometimes the goal changes, and it's important to be flexible enough to do that. Because it's relational, mentoring doesn't have very stiff structures around it, and while it does need guidelines, that's very important. And then when it comes to strengthening it, mentors, by virtue of being mentors, have a personal interest in the other person. And so strengthening the relationship, in my view, is done through praying for the person. As a mentor, I will pray for the person I'm mentoring because I believe that God cares about them. Second, I think it's very important to encourage the person you're mentoring. Just continually point out what they're doing well. And thirdly, it's important to equip them where you might have some experience or some knowledge or skill that the mentored partner can benefit from. And then finally, I think the last part of that strengthening is releasing them, and that fits with transitioning, where you're really releasing the mentored person to move on and probably, because each person is unique and has different gifts and abilities, probably move on beyond your ability. I think it's important to understand as mentors that people that we mentor can certainly outgrow us in the given area that we're working on or in the goal area, and we need to release them and help them transition. We may even recommend that they spend some time with another person that we know and help build a bridge for them that way. So it's not an ownership issue, it's a matter of really blessing them and encouraging them to move on and continue to grow.
Is it possible for a mentorship relationship to be mutually beneficial?
Well, I think that mentoring is presence. Mentoring is the mentor coming into the life of the person being mentored and being present with all of his or her gifts and abilities, character and strengths, and vulnerabilities, and meeting the mentored person as a fellow human being. And as a result, the mentored person benefits from someone who is accepting, who is willing to just walk along the road with the mentoring partner. And I think it benefits both partners in that way, and I tend to refer to them as mentoring partners, because the one who is officially the mentor has not only a great deal to give, but is still on a learning curve. And as a mentor of other people, I'm continually encouraged and taught by the people I partner with. Whether it's a new discovery they're making, or they may reflect an area that I need to learn as well. So it's a mutual learning and a mutual building up.
Have you got some tips for both the protege and the mentor?
I think it's important for people in mentoring partnerships to have a common idea of what they want. For example, it may be helpful for both mentor and mentored partner to have a mentoring agreement, whether it's on paper or just understood, that there is a beginning and an end time to the mentoring aspect of the relationship. So if they are focused on, for example, an aspect of mentoring to do with parenting, they might decide that for 3 months they're going to get together regularly and talk about this and talk about how they can grow as parents. But then there is an exit plan. There's a time when they both are aware that the official mentoring partnership will draw to a close. That doesn't mean the relationship does. I think it's very valuable, because otherwise people can end up with expectations that are unmet, hurt feelings, offense, and so on, rather than a goal. And I think that's another aspect to that agreement, is there should be some sort of goal or vision as to the outcome they're trying to achieve.
What final thoughts would you share with those considering entering into a mentorship relationship?
To someone considering being involved in a mentoring partnership, I would say take your time. It's important for the mentor to know him or herself well enough that this mentoring relationship isn't going to define your security or your sense of identity. There is a possibility that you might not be the right mentor, and that doesn't diminish your value as a person. And I think for the person being mentored, You have to be open and willing to learn, willing to discover things that maybe you didn't anticipate, and to perhaps take some direction, or at least be asked questions that you hadn't thought of on your own, and be willing to try to answer those questions.
Now it's your turn to share your experience with mentorship. Visit our blog, Provision Mentorship. Make the investment in mentorship today for your success tomorrow.